In the Daily Mail today, in their supplement of their Matchday Sport, the headline on the front says, revealed the truth about Salah and Klopp's uneasy marriage. It has been revealed that Mo Salah and Jurgen Klopp may not have got on towards the end of his tenure. Maybe that's no surprise.
Yeah, we knew that.
It did look a little as though there was fractures there. The article by Simon Hughes says it was noticed by some players that as Klopp debriefed the team in the dressing room, Salah was barely listening. The article does go on to reveal that there was a clear strain between Klopp and Mo Salah. And just sort of talks about how it was an unusual relationship that they had. A professional, respectful, always cordial, but perhaps nothing more than that. Sometimes I sort of wonder, do you really want to see these articles coming out? And I know it's in the past, and it doesn't change anything of what Jurgen Klopp achieved at the club. But how evident was this uneasy relationship, would you say?
Look, it's very hard to spend time with people when you're demanding absolutely everything from them all the time. Sometimes have certain relationships being strained. That happens in football camps of football clubs. Salah was clearly at the end of last season. Everybody knows out there that their relationship wasn't quite as close as what it was made out to be over a number of seasons. I would put Mane in there as well, because Mane's got mentioned in this column, because the way Mane left the club, and I think the way that Mane and Salah seemed to fight a lot of times for the position of them in the team. Obviously, he went to Bayern Munich. So I'm not surprised that... I mean, there was some interesting stuff in there, because the contracts get mentioned, don't they? The contracts of when his new contract was up for grabs. He didn't believe that Jurgen Klopp was the man pushing for that new contract to be signed. It was more done by the club to get Salah to stay. And that was revealed in this piece, that it wasn't plain sailing at all.
Yeah, I'm reading this as we go along, really, and they talk about the awkwardness between Mane and Salah increased because of the nature of the competitiveness between the two of them. Staff said Salah could see Mane was trying to compete with him. Sometimes when Salah would be talking to physios in the treatment rooms, Mane would walk in and Salah would stop speaking. Sadio increasingly saw Mo as a rival, perhaps more so than a teammate. Is that a problem in itself, to have rivalry within a team?
It happens. Look, sometimes people get very disappointed and upset about being left out. And, you can be at a football club and be the number one centre forward, and they bring someone in and that's suddenly a rival. And also the character of the player, you just don't... I know, because Manchester United, when they were having huge success, it wasn't all plain sailing in the dressing room. It was quite clear there was factions in there, but they still managed to be the best. Even with most successful teams, you get issues within a dressing room. That just happens. And this is clearly one with Salah.
Even involves Roberto Firmino, who was annoyed as well at some of the hierarchical order that was placed with Salah at the top, and Firmino, according to this, was annoyed that he was put on a higher pedestal, Salah, than anyone else. But that's going to happen if
that's egos in dressing room.
It's a hard thing to manage.
Yeah, and look, to say that Klopp and all the cuddling and all the big smiles, sometimes was it done sincerely? No, it wasn't. Jurgen would have had to make tough calls at times and would have had fallouts with certain players. But facing the public, the media and everybody, he would say the right things to try and keep them on side. Whether them players would believe that, Brendan Rodgers had that at Liverpool as well. A lot of players accused Brendan of, not being sincere in some things he was saying, and then did other things. I think that's sometimes what managers have to do. They can't be always totally upfront on everything.
Well, it's interesting you mention that, because Arne Slot obviously is now in charge and is well aware that there are a number of key players who are out of contract come the end of this season, Salah being one of three, Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold the other two. And ahead of their game against Brighton today, the new Liverpool manager was discussing their futures and says he isn't too concerned just yet.
For me, the contract situation could become a problem if the players don't perform as well as they do at the moment, although... of course, then it's also not sure that if they perform not as good anymore, that has anything to do with their contract situation. At the moment, all three of them are in a good place. They all perform really, really, really well. and there are ongoing discussions between what Virgil said, the people he had to talk with, and that's not me, as you know. I talked to him about other things, and let's wait and see. But I think all what he says, he's completely right in that he doesn't exactly know what the future brings as long as he doesn't sign the contract yet.
Mm. Interesting stuff there, because there's a manager who the club would have asked about how desperate they are to keep certain individuals. He's handled it brilliantly. It's not his job, but he would have made it quite clear how hard the club can push to try and keep someone.
But no manager wants to come into a situation like they're in right now, where 3 big players are out of contract this summer, and as we know from January, can start talking to others.
Yeah, I think you're listening to a manager who's quite comfortable in dealing with all them issues.
Okay.
And yeah, they're big ones. All he's concerned about is the performance against Brighton today. This is a tough game. Brighton went and drew at Arsenal. Brighton went and won at Newcastle. They're a very capable side. He knows that. So he's got to keep everybody focused on the game today. And the other things will just happen. You know, they'll find a way, whether it all pans out, they all stay, or one stays, or you know, it's going to be tricky losing good players, but he feels comfortable to me in talking.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.